I just got off of a phone video event, I should say. Let me start that over again.
All right, wait, we're on different levels. You're higher, I'm higher than you are. How do I make me?
You want me lower?
Yeah, that's better. Not really. No, it was, and then okay, you're high. You're higher when you come closer, but
oh well, that's me just coming closer. But you want my head up here higher?
a little bit, a little. Yeah. Okay. Now we're equal. Okay. Okay.
Okay. I just got off of a phone. Shit. What did I just get off of? Okay. I just got off of a webinar and they were talking about culture, and it was a big group that they do every year, this big HR conference, and everybody around the world is putting their input in on what's going on. And there is so much talk about burnout. Everybody's Zoom fatigued. Everybody's not sure what they want to go back to. So of course, with my research and curiosity, we were talking about some of the getting out of status quo ways of doing things. And I think that we're just seeing so much of people doing things just for the sake of doing things. And they're just checking off a list, and nobody really is aiming at anything other than getting that list checked off. But this is leading to burnout. So I know you talk about burnout or write about burnout. So I thought I'd get your insight on that.
I was the original person who saw the burnout beginning when I noticed that the employees were caught off guard and now suddenly having to become TV stars without any preparation. And the way that we can alleviate all kinds of burnout is to be prepared and to prepare our employees for things that they must do. Give them those skills, give them the opportunity to really excel, because they know that they have the skills in order to excel with. And I think that's one of the things we're falling short on today. Everybody's push, push, push. Do we go hybrid? Do we go non-hybrid? Do we go back to the office fully? Do we stay at home forever and ever and ever? And people are questioning that. And yet they're not giving anybody any training. And that's what we do. But they're not giving any training to facilitate the process so that they could really excel. What is your thought?
I think that there's a lot to be taught in terms of what people do with their time during the day, and how they present themselves, and all the types of things that you write about. I think that we've got a lot of people who are just showing up on these meetings because they have to be there, and then they're one of the Brady Bunch squares, and they're not really feeling necessarily the same comfort level that you used to feel. I mean, the extrovert can't talk as much. The introvert doesn't know when they're going to talk as the same way, and it's affecting everybody in different ways because the way you communicate is so different now.
But they also don't feel empowered enough with the facility that they must have to pull this all off. Don't forget, we were just thrown into this situation where we were asked to just get on TV, get on these computer screens and act as if you are in the office. But we're not in the office, and the kids are screaming, and the phones are ringing, and the dogs are barking, and things are going on all around us. And yet we have to be looking like we're 100% engaged. And I saw all the pain that was going on at the very start. That's why I wrote Amplify Your Media Presence, Amplify Your Brand, because I want people to be prepared with the skills that they need. And companies today are not investing in the training that they did earlier, pre-pandemic, because they just don't think about it. And they just don't think about making this easy. And we talk about working hard versus working smart. This is not working smart at all. This is kind of going through the motions again and again and again and again. And then people are burnt out. You know, we know from our own injuries, from all the things that you and I do, that repetitive movements do what? They create havoc in the body. Well, this is the same exact thing. People do not have the skill set to just go in gradually and project themselves in the best way possible.
Well, I think that was a big part of what we were talking about in today's session, was this learning organizations and what we need to do to prepare people in general in the workplace. And if you're saying you're not prepared to project whatever it is, your confidence, you're not prepared to project whatever it is you have to do on screen. And I think that that's all part of the learning organization skills that companies are looking at right now. It was kind of fun to look at what other companies were doing. There were people from General Motors and different people are on this call with me. And I enjoyed hearing what every company, the focus that they put on training their people. And I agree with you that they're not spending enough money like they did in the past, because they're somehow this online way of coming across into people's living rooms and things is somehow become undervalued, as you know, in the past.
Perfect word. That is the perfect way of expressing it. It has been undervalued. You just assume that you can just get on air just like this, and that everything will be fine and everybody has the ability to do that. But in essence, we don't. We never did. And I mean, there are some people who are more adroit at skating on the ice, and there are others who are not. And for everybody, they must learn the basics of how to project the rich content that they're there to present. But there is a differentiation, as I think about it, between presenting and projecting. I just thought about that. What do you think?
Definitely, there's a difference. And as you're talking about presenting, one of the things we were talking about in this event as well was how to build a learning organization. The one thing you could do is to help your employees to build critical thinking skills by allowing them to teach things, to get up on stage in front of their fellow employees, or get on Zoom or whatever we're doing these days, and to share something that they've learned to build their critical thinking skills. And that's great to build that, to help with learning and right. Curiosity and stuff. But think of the terror behind the person who doesn't know how to present yet, that leaves a lot for them to learn as well. So not only would they learn the great things that they'll learn from teaching something, because there's no better way to learn something than to teach it, but they also have to learn presenting skills, which is a big part of, if they want to go into leadership or do other things, of how they're perceived.
Well, there's a big difference. Well, it gets back almost to the IQ versus EQ debate.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference between having all this rich content that you are so knowledgeable about and that you can talk about on your own, and then being able to project it and then sell it to the audience so they remain engaged. And, you know, presentation is really sales skills. It's enunciation skills. It's projection skills. It's using your voice skills. It's using your body language. Even if you're in a seat, even if you're in a chair, you have to be able to be animated to the point that people won't snooze off.
You know, I've been seeing a lot of that in these things I've been on. You know, I've been in so many. I have been in so many of these events this last 2 weeks.